Coming up this hour on American Graduate Day, Yahoo News and finance anchor Bianna Golodryga, platinum-selling singer and songwriter Andy Grammer, and Olympic gold medalist Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
We are proud of our local champions of education and to be a part of American Graduate Day here in Sacramento, California at KVIE.
Hi, I'm Jackie Joyner-Kersee. I'm here in Times Square with Boys and Girls Club of America. We got the Great Futures campaign going on here in Times Square. You know, being an alum of the Boys and Girls Club, I can honestly say it has made a big difference in my life. Providing a safe place to come to, working with people who care about you, who provide. If you don't have clothing, they make sure you have clothing. If you're hungry, they make sure you eat. And then also you go in there, you can be a part of Power Hour, Team Reach, the different programs that provide you life skills, skills that you can carry on with you for the rest of your life. Because we know education is the key, and Boys and Girls Club provides that for you anywhere and everywhere. I'm glad to be here with Boys and Girls Club on American Graduate Day.
And welcome back to American Graduate Day. We are live at the Tisch WNET studios in Lincoln Center. I'm Bianna Golodryga. We're in the third hour of our broadcast, and that, of course, was three-time Olympic gold medalist Jackie Joyner-Kersee. She is one of several renowned athletes testifying today on a lifetime of benefits gained by low-income students who took part in the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Each year, millions of American kids miss out on expanding learning opportunities that would help them get ahead, but also prevents them from falling behind in school. It's called the Summer Slide. Well, a new Boys and Girls Club program designed to address that problem is the Summer Brain Gain, which operates for 10 weeks every summer for youngsters aged 5 to 18. Educators say summer begins in September, so let's get right to it. Joining me now are Kimberly Boyd, Vice President of Academic Success Planning for the Boys and Girls Club of America, and Elijah McKnight, my new best friend, a participant in their Brain Gain program in Columbus, Ohio. I want to welcome you to American Graduate Day. And Elijah, let's start with you. Tell us about yourself, because you're not only a student, you are a successful athlete and a musician. Tell us about that.
Yes, I am in the marching band, and I do football. So during halftime, I take off my pads and I go out there and march. I'm in the jazz band. I'm 15 years old, and I'm a sophomore in high school. Two
positions you play in football, right?
Yes.
Let's not be modest here.
You could say three, because, the marching band thing.
Yes, okay, three, technically, yes. And what has the Boys and Girls Club done for you as far as advancing your aspirations into becoming an adult?
The Boys and Girls Club has provided me with lots of opportunities and things like that. We go out here and we learn how to basically live life, and life is tough, so we do things. Brain Gain has so many opportunities. We got to do interviews, mock interviews, and we went in and got all dressed up and stuff like that and talked to people and stuff and learn how to deal with interviews and things like that. So that really helps. And we also got to go to museums, things like that, and also did fun things like go to the movies, seeing the new Transformers. It was fun. Everything was.
And it sounds like you have great summers now with the Boys and Girls Club. And Kimberly, I want to turn to you, because there is an issue of the sort of brain drain that we do see in the summer, the skill atrophy of kids who don't have opportunities to continue learning and to be in the circle of other friends and mentors. Can you tell us how important this organization is and why you think that our viewers should know more about it?
Yeah, I think one of the things that a lot of folks don't understand is that every year there are millions of children in the summer whose families can't afford to put them in the exciting and engaging summer activities that really help them to stay engaged and learning. And for the kids who can't, which primarily come from lower income communities, those kids lose an average of 2 to 3 months of learning every summer in both literacy and math. And what is interesting is that those are cumulative. So by the time they reach 9th grade, most students from lower income communities are 3 to 4 years behind their higher income peers, and about 75% of that delay is attributed to the losses that occur over the summer. And so Boys and Girls Club of America, we really felt it was imperative for us to attack this slide head on, because it represents one of the biggest barriers our kids face in terms of graduating from high school on time and really being prepared for the post-secondary choices that they have available to them.
And Elijah, how long have you been involved with the Boys and Girls Club?
I've been involved with the Boys and Girls Club for 6 years now, ever since I was 9. and I still love it. It's fantastic.
You still love it. So can you talk about the difference in your summer experiences before you joined the Boys and Girls Club to today, and how that has really, related itself onto your academic performances?
Yeah, we would just always go to camp every year. Camp was fun, it was cool, but you don't get to go to the movies in camp. You don't get to learn how to live life. I mean, we get to, I guess, survive in the wild or whatever, but it's just a fantastic opportunity with the Boys and Girls Clubs, and we just do so much. Brain Gain, actually, what we do during Brain Gain, anything that makes you think, anything that sharpens your brain, because like you said, a lot of kids, we do lose a lot of stuff that we learned over the summertime and things like that, and it's kind of like you study for a test, and after the test, you might even the next semester forget what the test was about, so over the summertime, it's even worse. So Brain Gain helps. It's fantastic.
I think a lot of your peers may not be so thrilled with you to say that they should continue with their studies. but when it comes to your self-awareness and your self-pride, have you seen a boost now that you've been part of the Boys and Girls Club?
Yes. I actually started liking school. I did not like school until the Boys and Girls Club, until I started going there during the summertime, and we do a lot of programs and things, so that just really made me think about life and how serious school is and things. So.
And Kimberly, how did you become involved with the organization? Tell us a little bit about your background.
I've been working in the education arena since I started my career more than 25 years ago, and really about 20 years ago got involved with the Head Start program and was working at the regional level with the Head Start program in many of the same communities where our Boys and Girls Clubs are located, and had moved on through my career through different opportunities. And when the opportunity came available at Boys and Girls Club, I felt like I was coming back to the kids that I was working with when they were younger. They were older, I was a little older, but it was the same challenges that they were facing and that their families face in terms of access to resources to really help their kids reach their dreams, which is what we're trying to do.
Right, and what are some of the biggest challenges you face right now? Obviously, we see a perfect example of a brilliant outcome in Elijah, and we want to see more of that in other children. What are the biggest hurdles you're facing now?
Well, there are a couple. One is making sure that our clubs are places where kids want to be, right? So we want to make clubs engaging and exciting, and that they don't feel like school 2.0. Schools play an incredibly important role in their lives, but we see ourselves as being the place where that education becomes real, where education meets life, and they get to apply what they're learning and follow their passions. And so as the kids enter middle school, we really try to allow them to follow their passions and help them to find the answers to the things that are bothering them in their own communities, help them to recognize that they are problem solvers, and along the way they're learning. And we tell them about learning. We don't want to just sneak it in, and yet they are learning and they're having fun while they're doing it. And we talk about how important that is.
And I know people like Elijah have overcome a lot of obstacles growing up as a young child. How does your family feel about the Boys and Girls Club? And I bet this is a family-changing experience,
yes.
Not just a personal experience.
My family, we just love the Boys and Girls Club. They've done so much for us and things like that. And it's a lot of violence going around and things like that every day and things. And the Boys and Girls Club just it's like a force field. They just keep all the bad things out. And so I just feel like the club is probably one of the safest places you can go.
Well, Elijah and Kimberly, we want to thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your stories, and hopefully millions of people out there will contribute to the Boys and Girls Club of America, especially with you as a role model and your nice bow tie.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, my new best friend, Elijah. I'll be looking out for you. Well, in a Harris survey, 57% of the club's alumni said that their Boys and Girls Club actually saved their lives. You could very well do the same for an at-risk kid, so check out our website to learn more about how to become an American champion. You can also log on to our Facebook page and check out one of our chats or share your own story. We've been presenting incredible stories of champions throughout our broadcast, and our sister station KUAC in Fairbanks, Alaska introduces us to a Native youth after-school program. The many benefits of the program includes increased attendance and academic performance while engaging students in a Native Youth Olympics that is built on traditions from their rich heritage.
Finals are tonight. We'll bring the final 4, 5, or 6 athletes to the finals tonight.
There are often more unique needs for students that are coming from rural communities who have grown up in a different environment than a city. A lot of, our families are so close-knit, and yet when we go into the school system, that deeper connection and relationship isn't always there. We offer this wonderful program, Native Youth Olympics. Students in 6 different schools will be participating in a wide variety of traditional hunting skill techniques. NYO lets them be a part of a team, yet develop their own individual athleticism. It's provided them the motivation to want to stay in school and get the good grades, because part of the requirement is that you can have no lower than a 2.0 and no more than 1 F. So it's a highly motivating factor. They're developing this self-confidence and camaraderie and part of another community that maybe wasn't offered to them before.
Well, from Fairbanks, Alaska to New York City, the need for more and better learning opportunities is universal. Well, our next featured guest duo adds an interesting measure or two to that topic by marrying a passion for performance with an ongoing support for public education. Our very own Neil Shapiro is jazzed now to discuss with Tony Bennett and wife Susan Benedetto the benefits of music and the arts to a high school's attendance academic performance here in New York City.
Tony, let me start with you and ask you, do you think music can inspire kids in a way that maybe sometimes other things don't?
Absolutely. There's certain music that never becomes old-fashioned and it stays timeless. You could listen to a Louis Armstrong recording and it sounds like he just recorded it yesterday. It never sounds dated.
Now, you've done more than just record music that millions of people can hear. You and your wife Susan have done something very different, very special. Right? In 1999, you started your own nonprofit organization called Exploring the Arts. So why did you do that?
Well, we're passionate about quality public education and specifically arts education and bringing back those wonderful arts programs that Tony was a product of growing up in public schools here in the city. And I used to teach in a public school that was arts themed. And so we share that passion. He wanted to give back to his hometown of Astoria. And so we started in conjunction with the Department of Education, the Frank Sinatra School of the Arts. You teach a child an art form and they want to come to school. And they stay in school and they do better in school and they tend to graduate and go on. And whether they become artists or not, the skills they learn will carry them for the rest of their lives. The arts also can be integrated into the academics and really make the whole school experience a joyful thing, because really, unfortunately, I think we've gotten away from really the joy of learning. And when you have the arts in school and when you integrate the arts into the academics, you have tremendous joy, and it's not surprising the kids want to come to school.
And I think for both of you, what's also really interesting about this is I think there are some people who feel either that public education can't respond to things like this, or that the arts can't really be a vehicle to help kids. But you've seen firsthand that just isn't true.
Exactly. In all the schools that we work in, the attendance is very high, the graduation rates are very high. These kids, if you give them something, a reason to come to school that they love, they show up.
What does it feel like to you when you walk in that school? How do the kids react?
It's beautiful. We also have great friends come in like Billy Joel, Paul McCartney was there. And what I love more than anything are the parents that I meet. They said, you don't know what you've done for my child. He's completely different. It's the best thing that ever happened to him.
A tough assignment for Neil with a music legend, and Tony Bennett's commitment to performing arts within the public school education system is providing impressive results all across the country. Coming up next, we have a remarkable story that tips the scales in the right direction. Listen in as we learn about a school district where music went silent and education suffered. That was before a determined school leader, with the help of VH1 Save the Music, began to make some noise in the educational system. The VH1 Save the Music Foundation is dedicated to restoring instrumental music education in America's public schools, while also boosting awareness about the importance of music as part of each child's complete education. I'm pleased to introduce our next host, singer-songwriter Andy Grammer, and his noteworthy guests. But first, open your eyes and ears and keep your head up to watch a clip from his music video.
But you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down. Put your head down, hey.
Hey, I'm Andy Grammer, and you should keep your head up and keep your mind and ears wide open. I'm here on American Graduate Day to talk about one of my favorite foundations. VH1 Save the Music Foundation helps educators around the country improve the school day and boost the brains of students. Not only is music the bedrock of my career, but it filled my home and was a driving force throughout my high school education. Trumpet, what's up? Band class cleared my head, stimulated my brain, gave me a whole new set of teammates. The stellar trio joining me today to talk music and education are Superintendent, Roanoke City Public Schools, Dr. Rita Bishop, Orchestra Director, Jeff Midkiff, and orchestra member and rising violinist and just all-around stud, Ryan Turpin.
Thank you.
So welcome, guys. Dr. Bishop, you've been honored as the Virginia Superintendent of the Year, which is kind of awesome, and also received the National Administrator Award for Music Education. What was the state of the music programs in the Roanoke School District before VH1 Save the Music Foundation got involved in 2007?
It was just a fledgling program. There was really no consistency. The district could afford either the instruments or the teachers, and we have to have both, obviously.
Yeah.
So now we have every elementary student playing an instrument, and we have good feeder programs for middle and high school, and it's absolutely wonderful. And if I could just say that if there's one thing that has been inspiring in my career, it's the passion of VH1 Save the Music. They have helped us so much.
Yeah, it's amazing. Can you tell us what brought VH1 Save the Music Foundation to Roanoke and how the program has grown?
We had a dynamic person, a gentleman named Cyrus Pace, who called them up and told them our problem. At that point, we had a 59% graduation rate. Kids didn't have a lot of hope. There weren't too many choices. And certainly if you were in the arts, if you couldn't afford private, you probably weren't going to go very far. Today our graduation rate is up 83.4% and rising.
Wow.
And I would credit a great deal of that to VH1 Save the Music.
And so why, you kind of touched on it, why is turning students onto arts and music education so important?
It's their soul.
It's the soul.
It's the soul.
There it is, very simple. It is, it's the soul. So beyond integrating the program into the school day, there are also some serious budget issues to deal with. How did the VH1 Save the Music Foundation enable you and the board to address that issue?
Well, because we had the instruments from VH1 Save the Music, the board was committed to providing the staff. And I think today that it's so embedded in the district and the community that we go, and it's part of our budget, and it would probably be one of the last things cut from the budget.
Oh, wow. Awesome. So Jeff, you're an accomplished musician who grew up in the Roanoke area. What motivated you to return to Roanoke and lead the Patrick Henry Orchestra program?
I grew up. I grew up in Roanoke, Virginia, and it's a beautiful area. The people are beautiful, and I grew up and I learned how to play the mandolin at an early age, and then I learned how to play clarinet in the band. And I lived in Chicago, and I enjoyed the crazy city life. But my family was in Roanoke, and the people that I grew up with were there, and the students in Roanoke City Public Schools are dynamite to teach, and the support from Dr. Bishop and everyone else, second to none. I've been many places in the country, and they really support the fine arts. And I know that music education, there's nothing more important to me to have the kids to be able to play and start music at an early age.
Yeah. So Ryan, I was lucky enough to have a great music teacher. Mr. Rick Reagan was the man. He energized and inspired our school band, was supportive of my music. I'm actually still friends with him today. Who introduced you to the violin, and how did it happen?
Mr. Midkiff actually introduced me, and it all started when I was in my classroom, and he came through the door and was demonstrating all the instruments.
Yeah.
And he played the violin, which actually caught my attention to where I wanted to learn this instrument. I had to play it.
You got it. Had to play it. So, Dr. Bishop, your school district is a diverse and urban setting where more than 75% of the students receive free or reduced cost lunch. Add in that the district has more than 600 homeless students. With such daunting challenges, why is the music program such a priority?
Well, it helps our students think. I will tell you that there's an absolute correlation to playing an instrument in mathematics, and all of that situation We have high mathematics scores, and I think it's because our students learn all kinds of mathematics skills, but music is critically important because it gives them a world outside of their own. You understand, if you play music, you understand things that people who don't couldn't possibly understand.
Yeah, totally. There's some quote, I forget what it is, that music shifts around the invisible pieces inside yourself.
It does.
It totally does. Okay, so Jeff, it appears there's a well-developed program shining in Roanoke, clearly. What's so important about the orchestra trip to a competition in Chicago?
We had a great time.
You had a good time?
For starters, I mean, the kids had a wonderful time. It enabled them to go on a trip to Chicago, which they were able to play at Orchestra Hall. And they did difficult music. They did it well. They received the highest score there. And the camaraderie and the feeling of that, I think, really made an impact on everybody there.
Awesome. So, last question. Dr. Bishop, how do you respond to skeptics who question the relationship between funding music programs, academic performance, and graduation rates?
Quite simply, it's all about data. I can prove that music...
You can prove it?
I can prove that music makes a difference. It makes a difference in your graduation rate and your mathematics scores. And you said it wonderfully when you said it gave you a whole new team.
It did. It really did.
And it teaches you how to get along and collaborate and be part of that group.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. That is just fantastic. VH1 Save the Music Foundation did save the music, and Roanoke City Schools is playing that music loud and often. Thank you all for traveling up to join us. I really appreciate it. I love talking about music. What I love even more is hearing the music. So Lauren Wanko is outside with another VH1 Save the Music Foundation story and the leader of the Trenton Public Schools Marching Band.
Thanks, Andy. Ted Plunkett is with us today, band leader. Thanks for joining us on our stage here.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
So your band was a recipient of the VH1 Save the Music Foundation grant program.
That's right. Matter of fact, they adopted us a couple of years ago, and it's been a roller coaster ride, almost like a fairy tale ever since they took us under their wing.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that fairy tale, because your band has been around for years, but then at one point, essentially disappeared.
We did lose our program, and we lost our feeder program, and that's where VH1 stepped in, sprinkled some magic, adopted us, gave us a lot of instruments to put back in the middle schools, and here we are. They put it in middle school teachers, we were able to get the instruments, and now a feeder program is in place, and then we merged the middle school and the high school to create a district-wide marching band.
And I think that's something that's really interesting, and folks don't really think about when they think marching band, they think one school. What's it like to have middle school and high school?
Well, it's exciting. Whoa,
wait a minute, what's it like? Here they are!
Well, we're going to find out how exciting it is.
How many students in this band?
Well, we have a lot more, but we only can bring a few of them, and they're here to represent.
But you typically have 45?
Yes, we have about 45 students here today.
How long have they been practicing?
Well, we have been practicing long enough as we would like to, but they're here, and they want to make their voices known.
They're really in sync! It's hard to get a word in edgewise. How are they doing?
We have a great time. The crowd loves us. We like showing up and showing out.
They're showing off. They've got some moves back there.
Well, the kids love moving in. They love doing what they do.
Again, I'm Lynn May. Thanks for staying with us on American Graduate Day. This hour, we've been talking about groups that are helping kids continue their education outside the classroom. Students study history and current events in high school, but they often don't get the chance to live it. Global Kids is a 25-year-old organization that engages 1,500 students weekly in discussions about foreign policy and international issues through activism, debates, and trips around the world. With a high school graduation rate over 90%, Global Kids is definitely doing something right. Now, here to tell us about their experience with Global Kids are two high school students who have taken full advantage of the program, Annie Willis and Farhad Shah. Terrific program, very exciting to meet both of you. And Annie, you know, you are just absolutely fantastic. You were struggling in school until you found this program. Tell me about that.
I became part of Global Kids in my 10th grade, in my sophomore year. 9th grade, I went to a different school, and my grades were horrible. I didn't know how to cope with high school. It was so new.
How did Global Kids change that for you?
Well, when I started going to Global Kids, I found myself enjoying school. I had a reason to wake up in the morning because I knew I was going to do better in the world. One of the things in Global Kids is like we're youth activists, and it really gave me that drive to wake up in the morning, go to school, do good, because I know, like, I have to start in school and do good in school to, you know, be successful in life.
Meanwhile, you've got excitement, a petition to the City of New York to add climate change education as part of the curriculum. Tell me how that's going.
So what we did is we went around, we got petitions signed. You know, we did a lot of work on the ground and whatnot. We actually got Councilman Donovan Richards and Costa Constantinides. We got them to sponsor our petition and introduce it as a bill into the city council. So we'll see how that plays out.
That is
hopefully, you know, exciting times.
You also have gotten to travel internationally. You've been to Italy,
Mhm.
Slovenia, Croatia. How did those trips affect you?
It was a once in a lifetime experience, really. So it was a partnership between 8 organizations from all 5 continents, and our goal was to sort of promote sustainable development practices in the economy, in building, you know, all sorts of areas in life.
Tell me what the value is in your life and in other young people's lives to have people pay attention, to be caring, and to be consistent.
You need that one person, whoever that is, or maybe a group of people to support you. So I live with my sister, and she's got kids of her own. She's got to take care of them. So it's basically just me, like I'm responsible for myself. I was in this little bubble, and I got very isolated from everybody, and I got really, really depressed. So Global Kids is one staff. Claire, one staff member,
Claire,
she
yeah.
really, really took notice, and I love her so much. What she did is, she sat down with me. She's like, listen, do you need to talk about something? Is something going on? And at first, I wouldn't speak about it because I was like, just didn't feel comfortable. But, they were persistent, and they kept at it. And afterwards, they got me talking. And then when I started talking, it started getting better. And it felt very liberating.
Absolutely. Tell me about the Jackie Robinson video game you created.
So the gist of the game is you're a player on a field. You're a baseball player, and each question you answer right, you get a home run, and you move on to the bases, and that was like the gist of the game. But the idea is to learn about Jackie Robinson and his history and how he changed the world for African Americans.
Well, it was so cool, in fact, that you had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and meet First Lady Michelle Obama. Please tell me what that was like.
There's no words to describe it. Like, she's amazing. Like, First Lady Michelle Obama is amazing, and she came to our table, played it on the tablet. We just invited her back to the Global Kids headquarters in Manhattan. We gave her whole staff our business cards. Like, we ran up to them and we're like, here, take a card, you take a card. And she actually came. She listened to us, and it's just amazing. Being bold is the way to go.
Now, I understand that the First Lady has visited you here and that there was an invitation for you.
She invited us to the White House. What's up? I know.
Oh, that is so exciting.
I'm ready. I would like to ask her to write me a letter of recommendation for a college.
I bet you that would get you into just about any college you wanted to go to. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a bit jealous right now, actually.
Global Kids is doing a wonderful job teaching kids about the world and issues and preparing tomorrow's leaders. You can see that right here in this interview. Please join the movement. Become an American Graduate Champion. Learn more about how you can keep kids on the path toward graduation at americangraduate.org. Please stay tuned to learn more about groups that are putting those after-school hours to very good use.
American Graduate Day, a live nationwide outreach event.
WSKG is very proud to be part of American Graduate Day. We believe in our youth and support them in becoming American graduates.
I'm Reggie Bush, running back of the Detroit Lions, and I'm excited to be part of American Graduate Day. So I grew up going to the Martin Bayless football camp every summer, and that to me was like the highlight of my summer, getting a chance to go to an NFL athlete's football camp. I think for me, seeing that as a young boy, it really instilled something in my heart at an early age and made me want to be able to give back when I got to this point now. So the Taco Bell Foundation for Teens, their initiative is to help teenagers achieve and realize their goals, because I truly believe we live in a world now where you can be whatever it is you want. For me, that's what I'm all about, is giving back and helping kids realize and achieve their dreams. Together with the Taco Bell Foundation for Teens, we are here to support young people. I remember when I was 8, 9 years old, I was just a little boy with a dream who wanted to someday be a professional athlete. And now the fact that I'm here and I'm able to kind of live that dream out, it's amazing. Become an American Graduate Day champion. I have.
So great to hear from Reggie, and welcome back to American Graduate Day. Our conversation about the necessity of more and better learning opportunities continues. You just heard NFL superstar and American Graduate champion Reggie Bush talk about the great work that the Taco Bell Foundation for Teens is doing to inspire and enable millions of adolescents across the country to graduate from high school and achieve more academic success. In Detroit, a partnership between the Taco Bell Foundation for Teens and City Year is flourishing. Nationwide, almost 3,000 City Year AmeriCorps members in more than 250 urban schools are helping students stay in school and stay on track for graduation.
The first thing I think of when I go to work in the morning is that I'm very privileged to have work that makes a difference for people. The Taco Bell Foundation for Teens mission is to inspire and enable teens to graduate high school and to achieve math. The way we accomplish this is we have our own programs, and we partner with community serving organizations across the nation. What's very unique about the Taco Bell Foundation for Teens partnership with City Year here in Detroit is City Year is a like-minded organization, and they really are in the schools. They really make directly an impact on teens' lives.
City Year is a member of the AmeriCorps family of programs. So typically a team of 8 or 10 will go into a school and stay for a whole school year, and they will divide them up. They'll put one corps member in each of several classrooms all day long, and they follow those students throughout the year. And they track them on the early warning indicators of dropping out, which are attendance, behavior, math, and English.
Power greeting and morning greeting is a way to reset a student. We don't know what goes on at home. They come to us, we reset them.
Hey, it's you, you're here, that's great. Hey, it's you, you're here, that's great.
Cody High is located on right on the west side of Detroit. You know, the Cody neighborhood has always had a history of challenges. This historically had one of the highest crime rates for young people from 14 to 24, and initially the highest dropout rate in the city. They drop out in many cases because they don't see hope. This has a large incarceration population. Many kids make bad decisions. That can cause it. We have a lot of single parent families and with volatile domestic relationships. The mother might have been abused, they may have been abused, and then they come to school. It's hard to just put that to the side and focus on Algebra 2.
The need could not be greater than their need in Detroit. The Taco Bell sponsorship is focusing on attendance. Our whole mission is to get kids in school and on track to graduation, and one of the ways you do that is with attendance.
What class is this? It's all. I'm sorry. Why are you in the hall? It's okay. Okay. Why were you in the hall in the first place? No, I wasn't in the hall. I was in my class. Okay. A lot of students here are really used to getting talked at. They don't talk with them, they talk at them. Having a conversation is probably one of the most important tools to stopping and dropout, actually. Just conversation. I know at the end of the year we talked about how you were going to continue with the whole leadership thing over the summer. Did that work out?
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
How did life in Mount go for you?
I came one day. I didn't come the whole 6 days. I was at Michigan State touring school.
Okay. Are you thinking about that?
Yes.
What do you want to do?
Engineer.
Really glad that you found something that you want to do. Okay, I'm going to bother you later at lunch, okay?
All right.
Okay, go back to class. A lot of the students that you start noticing that they're going to drop out, they've got really low self-worth. They don't care about themselves. They don't think of education as an investment because they just don't care. So you get to know them. You show them you care. You show them that you care about their passions. And they're like, oh, someone cares. I must be worth something, right? And then they start seeing their education as an investment in self, and they start being really passionate about improving who they are. So one of our core members, Mr. Jones, he wants to do a coding club, okay? Cool. So would you guys be interested in that? It's gonna be for app development.
When we saw these young people come in and tutor our 9th graders, the impact it had immediately was amazing. And the biggest impact is the fact that it's a peer. These are young adults that have a relationship with a young person.
So something I'm concerned about is, you know how you have a tendency to get a little angry when you get down on yourself?
They come from all different walks of life, but they love that child. It's so obvious and authentic and relentless. That's the key, is a relentless love for these young people that they don't see. The young people are used to being punished when they do bad things. They're never used to being loved no matter what. And that's what you kind of see with the City Year Core.
I'm gonna go back to what I was doing. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop something I already started.
That makes me incredibly happy.
I'm actually the first one in my family to graduate from high school. I know what it's like if you don't have money. I know what it's like if you don't have role models that have gone to college. So I know what it's like to have that mentor in your life that can show you possibilities, that can show you can achieve. You too can be this person that, you know, other people can be proud of. So I know exactly what it's like to get that support.
I think the value of looking at another human and like seeing them as like part of you, like your success is my success. I don't think enough people realize that. And a big part of City Year is reaching out to the other human. If you don't succeed, I'm not succeeding.
City Year helped me. They helped and they cared and they were there all the time, and they helped me understand like school is really important so I can go to college and be better with my life.
The innate talent and intelligence in this community is not translating into high school graduation or college enrollment, and it's dragging the city down. And we got to do something to raise that graduation, and City Year has just been phenomenal in the way that the program encourages kids when they're down and helps them get through the rough spots when they're discouraged, and has had a real impact on the graduation rates everywhere they've been.
Such an inspirational story for such a hard-hit city. And just as the partnership between City Year and the Taco Bell Foundation for Teens in Detroit is working, there's also a group in Pinellas County, Florida, taking the right approach to promoting responsibility in education. From our sister station WEDU in Tampa, a very noteworthy story of American Graduate champions focusing on male mentorships.
The Right Field program is our new dynamic mentoring and academic enrichment program for minority middle school boys. The staggering dropout rate here in St. Petersburg, Florida was a major concern for the members of the Institute, and so we decided that we wanted to be part of the solution. We have a mixed bag of boys in our group, some of them who have had problems and challenges with the legal system, and some who just need the support and the encouragement of positive role models. Of our 15 mentors right now, we have a wonderful diversity of police officers, photojournalists, writers, investment bankers, and a couple of local entrepreneurs. It's just an amazing growth experience that we watch the boys go through. Something as simple as tying your necktie. If you don't have a male in your house, that's not something, or your bow tie, that just happens. You know, what started out as a labor of love has now become a mission and a passion. And we've seen grades go up and detention and behavior issues go down drastically. And the program has been hugely successful.
And as we continue to celebrate American Graduate Day, stories from around the country, we're going to go live to our sister station, Idea Stream in Cleveland, Ohio. American Scores Cleveland has an innovative after-school program that combines soccer, creative writing, and service learning, all designed to improve fitness, literacy, and community engagement. Rick Jackson tells us more about this program.
Thanks, Bianna. We're coming to you from the Idea Center at Playhouse Square in downtown Cleveland, but we're here today to talk about another historic neighborhood, one of Cleveland's oldest, just a handful of miles from here, settled by Central European mill workers in the 19th century. It's known as Slavic Village. Once a bustling working-class community, Slavic Village was already on a downward spiral when it was hit hard by the foreclosure crisis. In 2007, the neighborhood earned the dubious distinction of having more foreclosures than any other community in the country, according to RealtyTrack. Along with the foreclosures came crime and poverty. Currently, almost half of the children in Slavic Village are living in poverty. Of the 5 public schools in the community, 4 are designated as being an academic emergency by the Ohio Department of Education, and 15% of neighborhood teens aged 16 through 19 are high school dropouts. But in the midst of this adversity, one after-school program has found a new way to address the dropout crisis. They do it with soccer. Here to explain is Executive Director of America Scores Cleveland, Deborah Pence-Meyenberg, and 10th grader Trayshawn Anderson, who is an alum of the program. So Deborah, how does soccer help combat a problem as serious as the dropout crisis?
Soccer is the vehicle that America Scores uses to draw students in that might not otherwise want to be part of an after-school program like homework help or tutoring. What they're drawn to is the soccer. They want to be part of an organized sport. They want to wear a uniform. They want to play in soccer games. But to be part of America Scores, you can't just be in the soccer. You have to also be in the other component of the program, which is creative writing. And then by coming every day, that increases their attendance in school because they can't participate in this program if they don't go to school every day. And the program's offered on site at our participating schools. And then as they participate, then they can play in the games on Fridays.
Trayshawn, you're in 10th grade now, but you started at just 7 years old. What drew you into the program?
Well, what honestly drew me to the program was soccer. I felt like this was my first time being part of a team. I felt needed, wanted, and I felt that people cared about me. And later when I found out there was creative writing to the program, at first I didn't like it, but as time progressed, I started to love it. It helped me express myself differently than by using my fist and resorting to physical violence. I can use my words to express how I feel.
Yeah, we don't want to use fists. Good idea. Deborah, there's a lot more to it than just soccer, though. You said there's a service aspect.
Yeah, so in the fall, the students participate in soccer and writing, which is more learning how to work as a team, developing those skills. But in the spring, it transitions to more of a community service focus, where they have to learn through writing, you know, what are the assets in their community? How can they get involved? What difference can they make? So as a team, they have to decide what projects to complete. Projects have ranged from collecting canned foods to doing fundraisers to raise money for other charities like the World Wildlife Fund, or even anti-bullying campaigns at their schools.
Trayshawn, did the service aspect grab your attention right away?
Yes, it did. I felt empowered to help my community. I felt like I was making a difference by giving back to those who gave to me. Even though it was a small difference, I felt that I affected the lives of many. One of our community projects was our garden that every year we worked on, and these kids at the school still work on it.
Looks like a lot of fun too. Now, besides service and creative writing, you worked poetry into this as well.
Yes, in the fall, the focus of the writing is on poetry. And students first come in, just like soccer, and they say, you know, poetry, they've never done that before. And it is a great way for students to learn how to express themselves. They've got a lot of positive and negative emotions going on, things going on in their lives. And the poetry helps them learn how to put that on paper, Just put it down, and then they start performing that poetry, sharing it with their teammates and their writing coach. And then that builds their self-esteem and also their public speaking skills. Then they work together as a team to create a group poem to perform on stage at our poetry
I've read some of it. It's amazing. It results in some incredibly powerful material. Let's take a closer look at one poem written by 12-year-old poet-athlete Johnny Owens.
When I started poetry, I wasn't really that good. I didn't even know what poetry was, so I just started writing stuff down, and then I just got better and better.
Johnny had something great to say. We had endured a shooting with a student, and we had endured that students were scared, and I think his poem shared that insight that he was scared. He wasn't sure about walking home in the evening. He wasn't real sure about if he was safe. And his poem expressed that. It gave us insight to who he is and what he believes and what he thinks.
We learned about endangered animals, and it's a lot of boys my age around here getting shot and stuff for no reason. So I'm endangered. Endangered. On a safari, elephants are hunted. They are endangered. In the canyon, eagles are hunted. They are endangered. In Africa grasslands, cheetahs are hunted. They are endangered. On Arctic icebergs, polar bears are hunted. They are endangered. In dirty rivers, hippos are hunted. They are endangered. In the concrete jungle, I am hunted. I am endangered. Like the elephant, I will grow wiser. Like the eagle, my intelligence can soar. Like the cheetah, I can move swiftly. But if I am hunted, you will never know. A ring shot out from the hunter. Animals work hard to avoid it. They run, they dive, they soar, they hide. But I stand in my concrete jungle, endangered.
Deborah Pence-Meyenberg, Trayshawn Anderson, thank you both for being here today. Thank you for the great community service you provide and for joining us here on American Graduate Day. That's it from here in Cleveland. Bianna, back to you in New York.
Wow, Johnny is definitely wise beyond his years. Thank you so much, Rick. And from America's scores and the story of Johnny Owens, the American Graduate Day lens now shifts to a powerful story from another public television station, KET in Kentucky. As part of the National American Graduate Initiative, KET has created an uplifting documentary series called Dropping Back In that profiles resilient and noteworthy individuals from around the country. Here's an excerpt from one of their more compelling stories, Complicated Lives.
My name is Trisha Amos. I was living on the streets, drinking, and at that time, getting in trouble and getting thrown in jail gave me a place to stay. It only gave me enough time to sober up and get back out there and rack up bills, fines, and whatnot. And somewhere along the way, I was at the wrong party, wrong place, wrong time, and I was raped. And I had my second child. And that's when I thought I had enough in my life, and I sliced up my arm, and just by 5 to 10 minutes, a woman was there to save my life and get me to the hospital in time. And it's the same woman that took me to the women's shelter. And she saw something in me I couldn't.
Where we grew up on the home reservation, they're not thinking about going on to college and what lies ahead in the future. They're just worried about, am I going to make it through tonight? Am I make it through this week? Am I going to be able to get a meal? Is somebody going to hurt me? Is somebody going to bully me? Am I going to be beat up tonight? And we lose that sense of hope.
I learned about the FACE program through a bus driver, and she was also working at a women's shelter where I was staying. And she told me that if the child was 3 years old and potty trained, they could come here. And I could come here as well and learn with my child.
You circle the one that does not belong.
Do you understand? Okay.
The FACE program is a family literacy program which involves parents and children learning together. And here at Enemy Swim Day School, we have the national model, and our program focuses on children from ages prenatal through 3rd grade. We run a full-day program 4 days a week. The parents come with their children, and the strength of the program is getting the parents involved when their children are very little, because the parent is the child's first teacher. So if we help the parents be that and be the best that they can be, the children are going to benefit. And the benefit is that the parents will continue to be involved in their child's education.
Going to public school, I didn't really try very hard. I didn't. And so I got put in the special ed class. And I felt so out of place. I became withdrawn. I knew I was different. There was only about 2 other Native kids besides me. So it was really hard. I was always told I was bad. You're just a troublemaker. Or I always got sent to the principal's office. I went all the way up to my junior year, and I just said I had enough, and I walked out. One thing I've learned from FACE is you don't put a label on a child. You put a label on someone, they're more than bound to become that. They can't wait to come to school. This summer, they could not wait to come back to school. Before they could figure out which days we go to school and which days we don't, every day was, are we going to school today? Are we going to school today? Children are sacred. You know, my expectations of them are just what they can accomplish. And when they meet that expectation, to see that excitement in their face, in their eyes, and for them to know that I did it, that's rewarding enough for me. I mean, really, I know I'm doing something good.
Wow, parents and children learning together. And as American Graduate Day continues, we keep meeting such inspiring individuals. We began planning this program a year ago. We set a goal to salute and recognize 1 million or more American graduate champions committed to helping young people all across the country. Well, in this last hour alone, supporters of groups we've met represent a pretty sizable combined total of 314,000. That gives us a current tally of 1,277,060 American graduate champions. That's fantastic. And we're only 3 hours into this program. Speaking of American graduate champions, Lauren is outside for some additional musical notes from our host turned guest and new champion, Andy Grammer.
I think I'm starstruck, Andy, between you and Elmo. This day doesn't get any better for me.
Elmo beat me.
I don't think so.
No, he does.
Thanks
with
for
charm.
Swinging by.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I want to talk a little bit, now that you're a guest and not a host, about why you decided to become a celebrity ambassador for the VH1 Save the Music Foundation.
I'm just really passionate about music. I think it's super important that we invest in our kids to make sure the music that when they get older is fantastic. And in anything that you want to be better, you have to invest in the kids below you.
Now, we heard all about your involvement in high school yourself and in school, playing instruments as a kid.
Totally.
What do you think it did for your peers to be able to have that outlet, have music?
I just think that band and music programs were the part of the day that you get beyond learning or being kind of like worksheets and like the standard rigmarole of like, you know, middle school or high school or whatever. It was like, you get into band and you're like, whoa, this is amazing.
It's a creative outlet.
This is like, my heart is freaking out right now, and I'm in a different place, and I'm really excited and inspired to be here, as opposed to, unfortunately, there's a little bit of that culture in our school system that's like, another science test or another whatever. And I remember being in band and being like, this is unbelievable. George Gershwin's the man.
Well, this is an unbelievable experience for me too. So thank you so much, Andy, for swinging by. And for some of you around the country, you're about to see my special segment on the Special Olympics. It's all happening right here on American Graduate Day.
Thanks for staying with us on American Graduate Day. In this hour, we've been discussing the importance of after-school and summer programs for students. For kids with special needs, no group has ever done it better than Special Olympics. In June, I was privileged to cover the 2014 Special Olympics USA Games in New Jersey. Never was the word champion more personified. These flames mark the beginning of it all, the beginning of the 2014 Special Olympics USA Games.
I hereby declare the Games open!
After countless practice hours, nearly 3,500 athletes from every state in the nation proudly walked onto the stage during the opening ceremony at Prudential Center in Newark. It was the moment these athletes had eagerly waited for. After the event, many were overwhelmed with emotion and gratitude.
Basically, I cried. I cried. I teared up.
It changed my life by helping others that cannot do things for themselves.
To be part of the Special Olympics is to have heart, courage, spirit, and integrity, and the braveness to compete.
Founded by Eunice Kennedy Shriver in 1968, Special Olympics has since grown to include more than 4.4 million athletes with intellectual disabilities in 170 nations and more than 800,000 competitions around the world. The first USA Games took place in 2006, followed by the 2010 Games in Nebraska. New Jersey hosted this year's events, which included 16 Olympic-style team and individual sports. The week-long competition began with preliminaries. Athletes were placed in divisions based on similar ability level.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so happy. I'm so glad.
Gymnast Lee Dawkins represented Team Kentucky. She was simply thrilled to be part of the Games.
I worked so hard on it. It's my dream. It's my favorite sport, gymnastics. I don't want to cry in this video, but thank you so much.
In the stands and on the sidelines, families cheered on, along with 1,000 coaches who volunteered, like Team New Jersey gymnastics assistant coach Shannon Schaefer. These ladies call themselves the Fab Five.
I am truly in awe of every athlete that I work with. But these young ladies, I tell you, there's a reason why we call ourselves the Fab Five. It's just, my heart is just filled every time I work with them.
Gymnast Molly Hebert is just as grateful for her coaches.
They both love me and they're a part of my family.
Teammate Danielle Blakeney's advice for her fellow athletes?
Be exercise, be as flexible you can be, and go out there and bring home some golds.
Later in the week, the enthusiasm heightened on the soccer field for the start of the medal round competition. Team Pennsylvania's Loretta Claiborne is 60 years old. Her team didn't start the week on a winning streak.
And I said to my team members when one of us said, "Oh, we're losing," I said, "No, God didn't make no losers. I'm not a loser and you're not a loser. We're going to do this."
And together, they did.
We won, so it's great to be a winner. We're all winners, whether we win a medal or not. It's about being here.
Finally, it was time for the award ceremony. Athletes beamed with pride as they accepted the glistening medals they worked so hard for.
Here I am with Team Nebraska. They just placed 4th for Division I flag football. How do you feel, guys?
It was a moment of celebration for all the athletes. Some were brought to tears.
Why are you crying?
Because we won. This is a thrill. I love this.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's a wonderful feeling to win a medal.
Yeah. Team Delaware's Seth Lampkins was thrilled to nab the bronze. Not coming in first was okay with him.
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. I want a medal.
Team Minnesota, who competed in Division III, brought home the silver.
I feel honored to be the part of this team.
On the last day of the events, the energy on the volleyball court was exhilarating. This was the final game for the athletes. Off the court, their fans cheered them on during the award ceremony.
I'm with Team New Jersey Division III volleyball, and they just brought home the gold. Yeah! Tell me, how long are you going to have that gold medal around your neck?
Forever.
It makes me proud because all the work we do, people that are handicapped cannot do anything, but we can do anything we put our mind to. It's not about handicap, it's about being smart. Handicapped people are number one.
Whether these athletes left the 2014 Special Olympics USA Games with the gold or without a medal, there's no doubt they're all champions.
American Graduate Day, a live nationwide outreach event